Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to talk about how you can get a Steadfast Rockruff. This has been a highly requested video, so I thought I'd show this strategy off. Now, my past videos have all been somewhat unique strategies. I've talked about using very specific Pokemon and moves, but Rockruff is what I like to call a standard search. So the vast majority of Pokemon are just like Rockruff in that there's no easy way to check its ability beyond an ability checking move. And really, all you need to do is use False Swipe, use an Adrenaline Orb, KO the first 10, and then just start spamming the ability checking move. That's really the strategy. The only unique thing to Rockruff is that it knows Sand Attack, so I use a substitute. So, have a Pokemon that also can learn Substitute. Leaveney can do all those things. Smeargle can do all those things. Funny enough, Marshadow, which isn't available yet, can do all those things. So you might see me using Marshadow a lot of the time because Marshadow has a lot of cool moves that would really help in a lot of these searches. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you KO the first 10, you stay behind the substitute. It failed once because the substitute will eventually fail, even though I'm really over-leveled. But yeah, Steadfast, if it were an ability like Sturdy, for example, it would just be the Pokemon that didn't faint in one hit. Other abilities like Contrary, you can check with Sticky Web or Magic Guard with Toxic Spikes. But you can't do that with Rockruff, unfortunately. There's no move that flinches 100% of the time. Steadfast, what it does is it will raise speed when the Pokemon is flinched. It's actually not very useful competitively. I actually have a Scyther with Steadfast. And you might say, well, why wouldn't you run a Scyther with Technician? Well, that's a good question. It was the same reason I said you would run a Light Metal Beldum, to say, hey, I have a Steadfast Scyther. And then people are like, cool, that's neat. That is not optimal. And I'm like, yeah, but it got a sweep once. And I should, maybe if you guys want to, I'll upload that. It was against a very inexperienced player back in Oris, but I definitely was laughing pretty hard getting a sweep with a really terrible special Steadfast Scyther set. But you probably want No Guard Lycanroc, which is pretty useful. So after like the 34th encounter, I finally will get a Rockruff with Steadfast, and now I've added a new wrinkle to what I'll call the standard strategy. The False Swipe plus ability checking move. The other thing you might want to have is a Pokemon somewhere in your party that knows a status move. As you're going to see, I use False Swipe first. You might want a Pokemon that knows both False Swipe and a status move. That probably would be better because, well, it usually doesn't matter, but Rockruff actually annoys me by using Sand Attack a few times on Mismagus. So I'm going to send in my Mismagus from the, what video did I use that? That was the Riolu video. So here's Mismagus. I still had it with me, so I decided, hey, I didn't use Thunder Wave last time. I'll be smart, and it misses 10 times. One thing I will say about Rockruff is I'm really annoyed by its evolution mechanics. I am not a big fan of version exclusives. I know they've been a thing since Gen 1, but they're really, really annoying. When I was a kid, all the media could tell me about Pokemon was gotta catch 'em all. And the fact you can't do that in one game is, it's annoying. But it's even more annoying when, even if you were to trade with a friend, because that was the idea, right? Okay, well, you can either buy 2 games or you trade with a friend. But you can't do that with Rockruff, because if you want Lycanroc Midnight Form, which has different stats and a better hidden ability, you need Pokemon Moon. So even if you trade, you'd have to trade for a Lycanroc Midnight Form. And if you're getting hidden abilities, you're probably a competitive battler. And you're probably going to want to, make sure it has perfect IVs. I mean, you know how long it takes to level up to 100? It takes a really long time. So that's not super viable. So I'm not a fan of the fact Rockruff can only level up in Moon. And how's that going to work in future games? I don't know. Definitely not a fan of that. But anyway, I throw a netball, this is a netball. I always mix up netball and nest ball, but I throw a netball at Rockruff because I have no idea. Why did I throw a netball? Oh well, I used a netball, and that's pretty much it. I don't know what next video is going to be. I still have that Goldeen video on the back burner. I already have caught it was actually Seeking. I caught one with Lightning Rod, and that one's a bit of a unique strategy, so I'll upload that one. But It's pretty easy, and no one's really asked for it yet. I've gotten a lot of requests for Sandshrew, so I'll try and get that one up in the next day or so. And Lapras, I've said this in a couple of the comments, but I will now officially say this. I am not doing Lapras until Pokebank comes out. I actually have a Lapras strategy involving several Pokemon. It is a tag team effort here, but unfortunately, until Game Freak decides to release the update, I do not have the Pokemon I need, and Lapras is still probably going to be super annoying. So I am definitely not looking forward to that, but I kind of also am because I like a challenge. So stay tuned for that, and until then, please keep leaving your requests. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope it helped. Take care.